Hi there, my name's Lisa Malloy. I'm a Master's Qualified Psychologist and I've been working in coaching, consulting, facilitating for around 17 years now. Now, if you're here watching this, that probably means that you want to know a little bit more around the recognition and appreciation workshops. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking through the workshop so you can get a better understanding of what's involved, what your leaders would hear about, and the sorts of topics that we'll explore together. Now, one of the big questions that we'll explore in the session is why recognition and appreciation really matters in the first place. So we talk about some of the stats and the research behind this. We talk about some of the really human reasons that this stuff matters to people, how it links to a sense of psychological safety, what it means for engagement and retention and productivity and performance, why not providing recognition or appreciation is going to make it more difficult for leaders to provide feedback around things that need to be improved. We also talk about some of the barriers to providing regular, ongoing recognition. So the stuff that really gets in the way from both the practical, logistical, everyday operating in your role kind of perspective, and from more of a mindset perspective, the sorts of things that we tell ourselves about why this is or isn't important. And then we really get into the how-to part of the session. So I'm really big on providing people with the tools and the resources and everything they need to go off and actually do this stuff on the job afterwards. So I'll then spend a big portion of the session taking people through a step-by-step process or a framework for really crafting up meaningful pieces of recognition and appreciation. Within that conversation, we talk about 3 different ways to recognize and the difference between recognition and appreciation. Another topic that we explore is the fact that people want different things when it comes to recognition. So how do you recognize people when you don't really know what's going to make them feel valued and appreciated? And again, along the way, I provide people with tools and resources to apply this stuff in the real life environment. So examples of what they can actually say, how they might actually position a piece of recognition, the words that they might use, how to put it into context. The step-by-step approach helps people to really think through how they can actually do this in a way that's going to matter to the person receiving that feedback. As well as that step-by-step approach, we also scale back again and we look at what does recognition look like on a page? What does appreciation look like on a page? How do we make this really simple for people so it doesn't feel like overwhelming and big and something they have to spend heaps of time on? And of course, there's also an opportunity for some skills practice during the session itself, so that participants can see how it feels and try out some of the things that we're talking about. This also provides an opportunity for discussion and reflection and for people to share some of their experiences and challenges with each other. Now, this workshop can either be a 90-minute session that's more of a webinar with a chance for skills practice at the end, or a 2-hour session that involves a little bit more chance for discussion and reflection throughout the workshop. There are 2 other things that I want you to know about this workshop. Number 1 is that you can deliver it as a standalone session. It doesn't need to tie in with anything else. That might be handy to know if you want to include something like this in a broader leadership program. Number 2 is that in most cases, the principles I teach around providing appreciative, positive feedback should align pretty closely with anything else you might be teaching your leaders around providing constructive feedback or feedback for improvement, coaching-based feedback. I share some of those key ideas around being specific and talking about the impact that someone's behavior or actions or their attributes have on you, the team, the organization, your customers. Now, you've probably figured out by now that I love this subject, and that's because after working for over 17 years in this space across a whole range of organizations, I know that this really matters. It makes a difference to how people feel when they come to work every day. So if this is something that's important to you, then please reach out. Let's have a conversation. If you want to know more about me as your facilitator, my qualifications and experience and background, then have a look at my bio. Thanks so much for listening.